Welcome back.
네, 지금부터 국내외 저명 인사를 통한 강연을 청해 듣도록 하겠습니다. 그러면 첫 번째 순서인데요. 글로벌 관점에서 도시 야경 탐구라는 주제로 루치의 마크 버튼 페이지 사무국장님의 강연을 듣도록 하겠습니다. 이번 강연은 사전 녹화된 영상으로 준비되어 있고요. 영상이 끝난 후에는 온라인 라이브로 질의응답 시간이 있을 예정이오니 질의가 있으신 분들은 댓글이나 혹은 질의응답 시간을 통해서 직접 자유롭게 말씀해 주시기 바랍니다. 유튜브 라이브 채널이나 혹은 줌창에 질문을 올려주시거나 혹은 이모티콘 손을 드는 모습을 눌러주시면 됩니다. 그러면 다시 한번 마크 버튼 페이지 국장님 모시겠습니다.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, hello again. I'm Mark Burdenpage from Luci. I'm really glad to be with you again this morning. Thank you all for watching from your office or from home or from Seoul. As you know, urban lighting is a public policy that has a massive impact on the lives of urban dwellers. And that is half of the world population. Something around 4 billion human beings now are living in cities. Our main area of work and lighting is the nighttime. So that is exactly 50% of our total living time, around 350,000 hours for each of us. The main driver behind Luci is about using light as a tool to drive sustainable development of cities. And I'll explain more in a minute. During this talk, I'll take you to a number of cities, and along the way, we'll talk about their common challenges and opportunities. I will start by saying that in Luci, we've always wanted to dig deeper into the questions linked to the governance of city nightscapes. Why are things lit in the way they are? Who is doing what? And how are decisions taken that lead to a specific circumstance occurring? Every city of the world has public lighting in one way or another. Cities have been using light in a variety of ways, leading to very different luminous landscapes or nightscapes. Here is Rotterdam, one of the largest ports in Europe. Of course, bridges and water are often a core component of nightscapes. The nightscape impacts how we move through cities and what we see as we move through the city. Certainly, light is essential for the functioning of a city after dark. How cities apply light in their urban spaces goes a long way towards shaping these spaces and our experience of the city as a whole. Here is Strasbourg in France, one of the seats of the European Parliament. You have a very nice use of lighting to reveal character of these great historic buildings. Light is eminently political. And of course, we don't mean that in a bad way. Lighting is political because it has a link to safety and security, a key concern for most local communities, but also because of the symbolic aspect of light. When we choose to highlight something, or on the contrary, to really keep it hidden from view. Here in Lyon, when this building that was once a hospital was founded in the 12th century, it was first lit at the end of 1989. And it's been relit in 2019, 30 years after. And it has now been reinvented as a building for mixed uses, including a garden, a hotel, a museum, shops, etc. The city really wanted to mark its renaissance. Indeed, in many cities, nightscapes are a construct. They vary from city to city, based on different political choices, budgets, legal environment, cultures, values. They depend on the women and the men that are leading the urban lighting of a city. This includes a mix of actors from the municipality itself to the private sector, utilities, power authorities. Here, I take you to Jyväskylä, central Finland. The actual president of Luci It's up north, where it gets much darker half of the year. This obviously inspired the city to come up with a full City of Light strategy that includes having a lighting designer on the payroll, putting up a major light festival, etc. While the impacts of nightlife and the weight of nighttime economy are increasingly recognized today, the importance of the city nightscape in itself is perhaps less evident. The nightscape really falls within the realm of the intangible, with very broad consequences that go over the direct economic and social impacts. Here we are in Antwerp, where light really helps to underline the symbolic importance of buildings. You have the cathedral on the backdrop, you also have the Grote Markt and the statue in the front. You can almost feel the vibrancy of the nightlife there. City nightscapes also evolve over time. They grow and they mature. Different cities are, of course, at different stages of this evolution. Some relatively young nightscapes start by focusing on a specific neighborhood in the city, and others with vast dimension, compiled over 2 or 3 working generations, they will encompass the city and have far-reaching implications. In Lyon, they are now laying the foundation for the 3rd generation of light plan. The ambition is to be cross-sectorial in the approach to light and to night. Here you can see London City, the square mile, at the core of London, with their lighting strategy that's been totally redesigned and implemented since 2018. This is the first such strategic approach to lighting in the whole of London, and this has attracted lots of attention worldwide. That's why, at Luci, we initiated the process for this book, with the help of the City of Lyon, also with funding from the European Union, inside a research project called ROCK. With this publication, we wanted to explore the different approaches to developing city nightscapes, serve as a source of inspiration. And you can download that book for free on our website, and we'll be publishing the link for that in a moment. Since we published it, it's been downloaded nearly 400 times. So we spoke to 12 cities in Europe, but also outside. Especially we added Seoul and Shanghai for perspectives from cities in Asia. These very rich conversations with public lighting decision makers, people who are engineers, designers, elected officials, have brought to light common challenges in cities and raised some critical questions that policymakers will need to navigate in the near future. 5 common challenges stood out. Number 1, we need to bring about a mind shift as we think about urban lighting of the future. Urban lighting goes beyond the functional element. And of course, it is a functional element. It's really essential for visibility, for security, for energy and cost savings, for better management and control with added smartness. But lighting is also more and more about recognizing the benefits for the emotional part of the city, the identity, the attractiveness, the beauty, even the poetry of a city. And it can enable deeper, richer conversations about how we design our urban fabric at night. Number 2, evolving with technology, but not for it. Actually, technology as a tool. How can cities take advantage of rapidly changing technologies without letting these technologies really determine their vision, their long-term vision? That's quite a common question that we had for our interviewed experts. Cities have spoken of lighting master plans that can be really interesting tools in this effort to be future-proof. And a few have mentioned the importance of identifying and creating a strong nightscape vision, or even a lighting style, a signature for the city that will withstand the test of time. For that, we need to build better alliances between art and science, between the engineer and the designer, technical and social, and I will come back to that in a moment. And that alliance is the key to a better balance. Number 3, engaging and connecting with citizens. Some cities point out how it's really hard to really engage with citizens on urban lighting and go further than the need for more light, the need for less light questions. Indeed, there are some technical aspects to lighting, and it's not easy to speak the same language. I think this can be addressed in the long term, but it does require quite a strong commitment. And at Luci, we see a few examples where cities are reaching out to citizens, to the community, and actually building a dialogue. And this leads me to challenge number 4. Several cities suggest that a key to developing a better dialogue will really be to raise awareness about the way the city is lit at night, to better explain the value, the quality of light, and the identity of the city at night. This should be targeted to all the producers of light in the city, not only towards citizens, but also commercial developments, building owners, etc. The aim is really to grow a culture of light in the city. And some cities like Lyon or Jyväskylä have currently working on creating simple layman versions of their city lighting policies and master plans. Indeed, they insist that it's very important to improve communication with stakeholders in the city, better communication about their work on urban lighting, better communication on the positive impacts of a quality nightscape, and better communication to engage people in creating and maintaining their nightscape. In fact, lighting is really everyone's affair. Working together with the community, building public-private partnerships can improve the nightscape, making it more than the sum of its parts. Number 5, a delicate balancing act. In the end, the nightscape is the result of a series of compromises between the points you see in this slide and more. Decision makers have told us that they really have to find a balance between responding to security goals and lighting norms, adding light to highlight identity and culture, versus avoiding overlighting and remaining on track for energy efficiency and sustainability goals. Also, balance between the many sources of light. How can cities coordinate the many layers, the private layers, including, for example, luminous advertisements, and public layers of light that really both make up the urban nightscape? So these are some of the common challenges that emerged from the conversations on Nightscapes that we had with the cities that are featured in the book. We don't have time to go in detail now, but I really invite you to download this book and read the individual city interviews in it. All those challenges and questions bring me to the last part of this presentation about what is next for urban lighting. So new approaches to lighting that are based on new lighting technology are really fantastic, not only for lower energy consumption, for curbing energy budgets, but also to tackle some excessive lighting. In itself, these techniques that especially enable cities to lower lighting levels constitute a real game changer. As I said many times, a paradigm shift in the urban lighting field. Because today, cities can really better adapt lighting to where and when it's needed. However, this is still a work in progress. In order to go further, to deploy systems at a larger scale and achieve impact, we need to ask the right questions for it to be acceptable, societally acceptable for everybody. And we need to start with the why. This is why Luci is publishing very soon a document called A City's Guide to Smart Lighting. We really wanted a guide from cities for cities. So we had a collective approach to this publication, and we had many co-creation meetings with cities that contributed in full to the document itself. You can see here one of the online whiteboards that we used during one of the meetings. A lot of great ideas. In the end, this paper brings together two different approaches for smart lighting that tend to be treated separately. A technical and operational approach, aiming for efficiency in the city, lots of energy saving, etc. and a social, societal approach, for example, light for well-being, social implications of lighting, lighting for identity, the qualitative part of lighting. Based on those both frameworks, the paper is really about the question, why smart lighting? And it really discusses how smart lighting can contribute to a broad range of topics: environmental sustainability, social sustainability, citizen value, and the city's internal organization, for example, and more. It also focuses on the how-to, and it gives some guides for action for cities based on the advice and the experiences of other cities. We come back on things like building a case for smart lighting, organizing the right expertise, conducting a pilot, engaging with citizens, ensuring interoperability, tendering, data management. So overall, with all these conversations and discussions with cities, we can see that going a further step in sustainability, in the sense of smart and societal added value in public lighting, brings up challenges. There are a lot of unexplored avenues. And what I want to tell you right now, and we see this in the Luci network, is that exchange and peer-to-peer dialogue is badly needed by the cities. We need to work together. We need cooperation to connect and exchange about common challenges and opportunities, and that is what we're doing in Luci. If you can stay until tomorrow during the wrap-up and closing of this workshop, I will tell you in more detail what you can do today to join this fantastic corporation of cities that is Luci. For the moment, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and I will be joining you live in Seoul for the Q&A. Thank you so much for your attention, and don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
네, 감사합니다. 첫 번째 강연 들으셨습니다. 마크 버튼 베이지 국장님, 질의응답 준비되셨나요? 네, 준비됐습니다. 그러면 첫 번째 질문 던지겠습니다. 도시가 점점 더 과밀화가 되고 사람들이 이제는 일몰 이후 시간을 점점 더 중요하게 생각함에 따라서 도시에서 열린 공간에 대해서 조명이 점점 더 중요해지고 있습니다. 또 코로나19 팬데믹으로 인해서 실외보다는 실내에서 보내는 시간이 더 늘어났다는 점을 생각할 때 주로 밝기 수준에서 기반을 두었던 도시 조명에서 이제는 열린 공간을 위한 소셜 조명으로 전환하는 것이 합리적일까요?
I'm not sure I see your question.
네, 제가 질문을 제대로 들었는지. 네, 먼저 질문해 주셔서 감사드립니다. 코로나19 팬데믹이 발발하고 나서요, 많은 사람들은 오히려 더 외부로 가고 싶어 합니다. 서로 다시 만나고 싶어 합니다. 따라서 도시는 이제 다시 한번 도시를 재건하고 사람들을 연결하고 다시 사람과 사람 간에 있어서의 연결을 시작하는 것이 정말 중요합니다. 하지만 동시에 저희가 큰 도전 과제를 목도하고 있습니다. 많은 도시의 도전 과제이기도 합니다. 모든 도시를 저희가 보는 게 아니죠. 물론 다 많이 보긴 하지만요. 새로 부상하는 트렌드가 있습니다. 네, 도시 조명의 이 등급 자체를 좀 낮춰야 되겠죠. 사람들이 공공장소를 밤에 매번 사용하지는 않습니다. 도시들이 실제로 조명을 아예 없앤다라는 이야기도 합니다. 일부 장소에서는 이 조명의 등급을 좀 더 낮추면 어떨까, 기술을 활용한다든지 혹은 보다 더 어떤 곳에 조명이 필요한가를 연구하고 나서 이 조명의 등급을 좀 더 밝기를 낮추고 있습니다. 물론 많이 사용하는 사람들이 많이 몰리는 지역에서는요, 저희가 이 조명의 등급을 낮출 수는 없겠죠. 밝기 등급을요. 좀 더 인간적인 차원에서 해야 될 겁니다. 다시 말해서 기술은 얼마든지 활용할 수가 있습니다. 어떻게 공공장소를 우리가 활용할 것인가, 또 사회가 공공공간을 어떻게 사용할 것인가, 팬데믹의 랜드스케이프 같이 고려하면서 생각을 해야 됩니다. 네, 좋습니다. 감사합니다. 질문이 지금 막 들어왔는데요. 읽어보도록 하겠습니다. 사무국장님, 시 행정당국 차원에서 어떻게 하면 언제, 어떻게 도시의 조명이 필요한가를 결정할 수 있을까요? 그 결정 기준을 알고 싶습니다. 네, 제가 강연 때 잠깐 말씀을 드렸지만요. 깊게 설명드려 보겠습니다. 오늘 이 장소에서는 제가 설명할 주제는 아니지만요. 나중에 워크숍 때 좀 더 깊게 다뤄볼 기회가 있기를 바랍니다. 루치 워크숍에서라든지 혹은 저희 웹사이트에 들어오시면요. 많은 출간물들이 있습니다. 제가 발표 때는 깊게 다루지 않았지만요. 저희 웹사이트 접속해 보세요. 저희 매거진이 있습니다. 잡지가 있는데요. 잡지를 다운로드 받으시면요. 스마트 조명에 대한 내용들이 아주 세부적으로 있습니다. 또 저희가 현재 했던 여러 실험도 보실 수 있습니다. 질문에 대한 답변을 드리겠습니다. 네, 맞습니다. 기술을 올바르게 사용하면 얼마든지 가능합니다. 빛, 조명이라는 것은 과학이자 예술입니다. 엔지니어도 있고요. 또 조명 디자이너들이 함께 힘을 합심해서 일을 해야 됩니다. 기술을 올바른 방법으로 사용해서 사회를 위해 기여를 해야 됩니다. 그렇게 된다면 분명히 저는 길을 찾을 수 있습니다. 보다 나은 방법으로서 조명을 도시를 위해서 적응시키면서 활용할 수 있을 것입니다. 예를 들어 보겠습니다. 센서를 사용한다든지 보호장치를 사용해서요. 움직임을 감지하는 것입니다. 센서를 활용하면 됩니다. 동시에 또 저희가 활용할 수 있는 것은요. 글쎄요. 뭐라고 말씀드릴까요? 인공위성의 사진을 활용해서 혹은 도시 상공위를 비행하면서 어느 쪽에 조명이 있는가, 좀 더 부족한가 이런 것도 판단할 수 있습니다. 현재 이루어지고 있는 많은 관행을 한번 예를 들어 보겠습니다. 예를 들어서 사적으로 개인적으로 설치한 조명이 굉장히 밝은 경우가 있습니다. 몇몇 이해 당사자들이요. 본인들의 사익을 위해서 도시 중심주에도 불구하고 사유지이기 때문에 굉장히 밝게 설치하는 경우가 있죠. 하지만 이런 이해 당사자들과 함께 대화를 하셔야 됩니다. 빛, 조명이라는 것은 정말 필요한 곳에 해야 된다. 또 올바른 장소에 올바른 적시에 올바른 사람들을 위해서 해야 된다라고 알려주면 되겠죠. 네, 제가 그냥 몇 가지 예를 들었는데 답변이 됐으면 좋겠습니다. 네, 세부적으로 답변해 주셔서 감사드립니다. 혹시 질문이 더 있으면요. 지금 질문을 해주시면 되겠습니다. 네, 저 여기 있으니까요. 얼마든지 질문해 주세요. 네, 제가 이틀 동안 계속 참석을 할 예정이기 때문에요. 언제든지 질문이 있으면 해주시기 바랍니다. 네, 나중에 질문이 나오면 답변하겠습니다. 네, 저희가 나중에 또 질문을 하도록 하겠습니다. 그럼 첫 번째 강연은 이상으로 마치겠습니다. 다시 한번 발표를 해주신 마트 버튼 페이지 국장님 진심으로 감사드립니다.